President Ruto has made sure that Raila Odinga has met key presidents while in the Beijing summit. There are a number of 7 of presidents that President Ruto has made sure that Raila Odinga has gone to meet with, and these presidents are very strategic in Raila Odinga getting the AUC seat. There was no need at all for President Ruto to still go to the people that have given formidable support for Raila Odinga. The FOCAC summit in China was not just about China and Africa. It was also a meeting of African presidents getting to know each other, African presidents getting to have bilateral talks with each other, and more discussions about intra-African trade and everything. Well, President Ruto and Raila Odinga were on a mission. Of course, Raila Odinga is still campaigning for his Africa Union chairperson seat, and in this endeavor, President Ruto has made sure that Raila Odinga has met key presidents while in the Beijing summit. There are a number of 7 of presidents that President Ruto has made sure that Raila Odinga has gone to meet with, and these presidents are very strategic in Raila Odinga getting the AUC seat. Two of these 7 presidents are Paul Kagame of Rwanda and Hassan Mohammed of Somalia. Paul Kagame of Rwanda was not present during the launch of the campaign of Raila Odinga, as well as Hassan Mohammed of Somalia. Now, these 2 presidents were targeted because Paul Kagame presents the future of Africa as he is known across the world of how he has governed Rwanda. Paul Kagame has a lot of influence regionally in Central Africa and also in East Africa. At the East Africa region, Paul Kagame made sure that he has sent James Kabarebe, his foreign affairs minister in Kenya, to present his statement, and that was clear that Rwanda will support Raila Odinga and will support the EAC chosen candidate to go for the AUC chairperson. About Hassan Mohammed of Somalia, we're still discussing that issue because we know that Somalia endorsed the Djibouti candidate, and Hassan Mohammed was a very critical person to meet with Raila Odinga as well as William Ruto, because Somalia also presents its influence in the Middle East as well as in the world. So Somalia was a very critical point because our former Prime Minister Raila could get the support of Somalia. That will solidify his support further as the true East African designate chairperson of the Africa Union seat. There are other presidents that President Ruto made sure that Raila Odinga has met, and these are 3 presidents from West Africa. As we had discussed before, West Africa was a hotspot because it is majorly Francophony and it threatens to have the support of the Djiboutian counterpart, who is seen as the formidable force against Raila Odinga. Now, President Ruto and former Prime Minister Raila met Umaro Sissoco of Guinea-Bissau, Assimi Goita of Mali, as well as Faure Esozima of Togo. Now, these 3 were very important as well because they represent everything that is happening in West Africa. We know that Raila Odinga has gotten the support of Nigeria. He has also gotten the support of Ghana. So there was no need at all for President Ruto to still go to the people that have given formidable support for Raila Odinga. So we see that President Ruto chose the exact people to go and meet, and these were the specific votes that Raila Odinga needs for him to clinch the AU seat. As well as the president met Hakainde Hichilema. Hakainde Hichilema's vote, I don't doubt that it will go to Raila Odinga, because Hakainde Hichilema, as a person, not even as a president, as a person, is very fond of Raila Odinga. They are good friends with Raila Odinga, and we saw this during the last regime when President Uhuru Kenyatta brought Hakainde Hichilema to Kenya to have a state visit, and Raila Odinga was part of that state visit as the opposition leader then. And you could see in the photos that Hakainde Hichilema and Raila Odinga were very, very cordial and very warm with each other. So it goes without saying that Hakainde Hichilema, as well as the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, will make sure that they vote for Raila Odinga, because they are very, very close friends with each other. One last president that we haven't talked about here is also Mahamad Idris of Chad. And that Mahamad Idris of Chad is a Central African president. That means that President Ruto and Prime Minister Raila Odinga are also targeting Central Africa. We know that Congo Brazzaville and DRC Congo have given their support for Raila Odinga, but we didn't hear about Chad. So it was very important for former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and the president to have discussions with Chad and see how the support can come through from that angle. So there is a lot that we can gather from this Beijing summit. And it was very important that Raila Odinga had to attend, because this is a situation where you're having all or many African presidents in one place, and it makes it easier for you to go and visit each other president and speak about your candidacy. So that was the overview of the presidents that Raila Odinga and President William Ruto met during the sidelines of the Beijing summit. And it is very important that the Beijing summit has come at a very critical point where the President William Ruto and Raila Odinga are in that position to go and campaign. We've not seen any other candidate coming out to campaign very fiercely, the same way as Raila Odinga and William Ruto have campaigned for the AUC chairperson. And President Ruto also announced that there will be a Pan-African Congress in Lome, Togo, and that is what President Faure Esozima and President Ruto were talking about. And the Pan-African Congress in Lome, Togo will happen later this year. That means that it will happen before the vote of the AUC summit. And that also is very critical, because we are expecting to see the AUC candidates to attend such a very important summit. And this summit, of course, goes in line with what Raila Odinga has been advocating for. We know that Raila Odinga has been very fiercely advocating for the aspect of Pan-Africanism. He says that he has that Pan-Africanism in him, and that is what he is presenting to the African Union as an organization, that he is a Pan-African, that he is going to speak about everything that affects Africans in our continent and even outside our continent. We know that there are Africans who are going to European countries trying to cross the English channels, and they are drowning. They are trying to cross the Mediterranean and they are drowning. Some are even taking the step of going to South America or Latin America to start a journey up north to the US border. And most of these people are not making it. So the aspect of Pan-Africanism, the aspect of speaking about Pan-Africanism comes from that. It also comes from the treatment that Africa is getting systemically in terms of how we are treated in these major organizations. For example, the IMF, the World Bank, and how African countries are charged at a very high rate compared to other countries that are developed. So these are the important matters that Raila Odinga will be advocating for. That is what he has presented, and the Pan-African Congress in Lome, Togo presents an opportunity for Raila Odinga to go and speak about what he presents. And if he does a good job, because this will be situated in Western Africa and many Western African presidents, of course, will attend, Raila Odinga could be sure to secure that seat, because what he is missing right now are the presidential endorsements from West Africa, because we know South African countries will almost automatically endorse him. So we are remaining with Western Africa, Central and North. And if he gets the support of Western Africa, because already there are some countries in Central that have given him the support that he needs, then he'll be sure to be the next AUC chairperson.